Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. Welcome to the presentation of this N equals 1, the future of insurance. Very glad that you joined this presentation. So before we start, a few information about myself. My name is Andreas Grigol. I'm a cloud enthusiast. I see myself as a result-oriented customer advisor. The last 9 years I worked at Microsoft as an industry strategy advisor for insurance, and since March I joined the Systemov Group as a managing director for Germany. In case you haven't heard of Systemov yet, that might be happening. What we are really doing is revolutionizing financial data management. So we have built the Vertex platform, a unique cloud-based data management platform with ultra-rapid, fast development skills. So this is the right one if you consider how to manage your data and how to organize your reporting. That's about it. Let's start with this presentation. First, with what it is not. So this presentation is not scientific research. It's not based on 1,000 resources that I've scanned and elaborated, and it's definitely not a company statement. What it is really, it is food for thought, what the future might look like, and how we might adapt to it, and what might be in result, how you act on it, and how we deal with it. So that's about it. So the agenda is pretty simple. You see it here. Starts with setting the perspective, so a little bit of opening up our mind and some assumptions that we have to see to develop a model, how it is, and some conclusions that you might like or might not like, that you might accept or not accept, but maybe we can have a discussion about that later. So let's start with setting the perspective. If we're thinking about the future, and it is always unclear, that is one of the examples that I'm going to make is here from Bill Gates. So thinking about 10 years ahead is really, really difficult, because it's for us easier to consider what we can achieve in the next year, but to estimate what can be done in 10 years is really, really a challenge. To give you some examples about this and how it would look like, take this one. The first one I've taken is just an example of the largest companies by market capitalization. The year 2009, it's to start with, and yes, it's 2009 for a reason, but I'll explain that in a second. We take a look at the companies listed there. It's really the oil and gas industry, together with some banking and some mobile phone companies, Walmart as a trading, but other than that, it's really the old heavy industry. In the fourth quarter, you already see right on the bottom Apple sneaking in as an indication that this is going to change in the future. And how dramatically it has changed. It's very good to see if we are looking right now at the largest companies, and it's really all about Apple, Amazon, Microsoft still there, it's Alphabet, Facebook, Tencent, Alibaba, before it's going further down to Berkshire, Visa, and Johnson & Johnson. So you see, and this is the estimation of the analysis and the investors really, which are the most valuable companies in the world, which magnitude the shift had. So it's really about the online world, it's about interaction, it's about social media and how we interact with each other, not any longer the old oil industry, to say it that way. So that was 10 years in the past. If we look 10 years ahead, then it's going to be, of course, a little bit more interesting. And here you see a diagram of the IoT devices. On the left side, you see IoT A and B. That is because the assumptions varying quite dramatically. So I thought, well, I took, two assumptions to give you the magnitude of the developments. It's starting already in this year, in the year 2020, with how many IoT devices are out there in the world. You don't know. The sources are varying between 20 and 25 million. But the estimation of the growth for the year 2030, it's 30 and 50 billion devices. That is a vast amount. And from my point of view, I'm not sure if 50 million is really the upper limit or if it's not going to be even more. Consider this with the global population that is estimated with slow growth from 7.8 to 8.5 billion, and the Euro population shrinking a little bit, then you see the amount of devices, how we will be surrounded by IoT devices signaling all the time, measuring ourselves, our environment, and how we do this. The IoT growth will be especially in the consumer market, and that brings us to two options regarding to insurance and companies at all. The first one is a pretty common assumption regarding the insurance, and it says it will be micro coverage everywhere. So that is a fair assumption, given that you are traveling then with self-driving car to a self-driving train station that will bring you to an airplane that maybe will not fly by itself, or maybe with a pilot or not. So it's really hard to have an insurance, self-driving car, rented car, how do you do that, all that stuff. So the assumption would be there will be many micro coverages everywhere that you simply would buy with the product. That would also mean that every company would be in kind of an insurance company because they are insuring the service they are offering to you by itself. It would also mean that you as a consumer would have to deal with thousands and thousands of insurances that you either buy automatically or you have to deal or you have to choose. And thinking about my friends that I have and the population I see in itself, and that is it really, how do you want to cope with insurance? So you would have those micro insurances on the one hand, and you would have, of course, your life insurance maybe, or the taking care of your house, of your car, everything you own, the family you love. And do you really want to handle with all of this? And I would say no. What they would love to have would be some kind of flat rate coverage. So obviously an adaptable insurance that they want to have to use or they can use, and that would adapt itself to the requirements of their needs in the lifetime situation or in the day-to-day need. That would enable, on the other hand, every company not to be an insurance company, but to care about themselves. Even though that in the year 2030 would mean maybe that every company is a software company, and they would have to see how they find the way on these two opportunities, ways, however you would put it. So these are the two options that I will use to elaborate on the question I put in the top of the presentation. So to find out which one of those assumptions might be true, it's let's see how we can find a model that we might chew on and we can discuss about. So which assumptions are we going to take? I think the first one is pretty simple. It will be a personal assistant driven lifestyle. So yes, with that, I mean really the personal assistants of the Siris, of the Alexas, of the Cortanas, of the whatever the name might be. With the difference, they will be purely AI and ML driven and much smarter. So that they will become a real personal assistant, meaning that they can actively engage with our lifestyle and help us to navigate through the digital life we will be having in the year 2030. The next one is every item in the real world has a digital twin. So this is already happening at the moment more for larger industry utility stuff like airplane turbines and stuff like this. This will, of course, be much come down to daily uses. And no, of course, the spoon you're eating may not be have a digital twin, but all of the important stuff you take around with you and you care about will have a digital twin. Virtual and real items can interact and influence each other. So real meaning physical items here. Yes, they can. It's the simplest. It's I don't know if you drive with your car to the traffic light and the traffic light will recognize you and sees you. At the moment, it's done via slopes. In the future, it will really be about digital signaling and where the traffic flow will be and how you can optimize the traffic flow through a city through different actions you can take. And that will, of course, influence the way you are driving. So physical life influencing digital life, influencing physical life again, and back and forth. It will be a circle going round and round. There will be needed, of course, multi-level security because everyone's digital, everyone's talking to each other. I think cybersecurity will become the most important topic in the future. We will see that a lot more happening than today. And the virus that is a plague right now, think about, maybe even more dramatic viruses in the future coming from the digital level. And that would mean, and that is the idea that I have behind this, that you would be surrounded by a digital bubble that protects and guides you. So with that, I mean that, for example, enforcing the GDPR laws, it feels like that you are surrounded by this digital bubble that goes with you, that is carried with you, and that opens up only in the moment that someone is, or that a service is required, gives a little bit of information in this point of interaction. Afterward, it closes again, and the information you have given will be deleted. So no, I don't believe in the George Orwell scenario. I believe that we can interact in a purely digital way without being completely naked and be seen by each and every one, but we can go around it. So if we see that, that is just a picture of these several layers, bubbles, private rooms, however you will call it, that are surrounding you. Think about the personal bubbles on the left versus your very own. Then, of course, the bubble will be a little bit larger for your family, for the transport you're using to go to work, if you're going to work, or if you're working in a home office or wherever, for your house, and of course for the work itself, where you are normally being. And all of these bubbles, and this is more the picture on the right, will flow to each other, will interact with each other. You will see there the several security layers that I have pictured, and just a very brief picture, of course. So that will be needed to secure the most important infrastructure and find a way that you can interact each other. So how can that look practically? For that, I have a very simple coffee store example. So if you go like today in a coffee shop, you won't have to say anything at all because your PA will recognize that you are going into your favorite coffee shop. It will open up, will send the information to the digital counterpart in the shop area, will say, hey, I'm there. My favorite preferences are the latte macchiato, double chocolate, whatever, and a muffin to go with that. The shop system would receive only that data for the moment, would say, yes, hey, great to meet you. So, of course, for the moment, they know who you are, will greet you in the best way, will serve you the products you want, and be as friendly as ever. After that, the information will be deleted from the shop system, except, of course, for the for the tax reason and all that stuff. So that is neat, but the personal data interaction will be deleted and will be carried again with your private room, so to say. So this is really the idea behind it. And so which conclusions can we take out of this if we're thinking about the question we had in advance? Yeah, if we think about the two questions we had before, will every company be an insurance company or will every company software company? I don't think you can make a clear distinction, to be completely honest. I think it will be something in between. So I believe, yes, there will be one lifetime coverage. And I think this is a huge need, and I know how difficult it is to do this right now, and you can't do this. So it won't be a flat rate from lifetime, from your birth until you're dead with a fixed amount, but it will vary. But really, it should take care, and it must take care of your lifetime in the moment of your life. So you have to be the trusted advisor. You have to take also care about the not only the coverage but the spendings and the savings and everything. So to ensure a really secure financial lifetime and personal well-being with health insurance, I think you really have to evolve your skills, your capabilities to become really a lifetime trusted financial advisor. The PA, the digital PA of the single person, will ensure automated insurance if it is required, like, for example, for automated cars and everywhere. And so you really have to do it. So does that mean that only Google and Amazon and Alibaba can be the lifetime financial partner? No, I don't think so. I think it will be one skill of the PA, which would be something like financial stability, financial well-being, and of course coverage and all that stuff that you can be part of, and that your skill can be the part of the PA to really interact with the customer. So I hope this is it. So it also means, of course, if you're not relevant to the PA, that would mean that you would be not relevant to the customer at all. To make it very sure, so yes, there will be micro coverages and there will be, of course, single person risk evaluation. If you think about genomic screening, it will happen. So yes, it might be on the one hand that the risk is one, but no, there will be lifetime coverage from an insurer. You can still use, of course, the quantity to spread the risk across several individuals, and you can act in a normal way, to put it that way. Conclusions, very simple is to say. It's not easy to do, but you have to become as the lifetime financial partner. I said it before, not only preventing accidents, but also ensuring financial stability. And preventing accidents means really preventing, not just paying when the claim comes in, but really trying to see how you can ensure the best personal lifestyle for the person. That also means, of course, interaction with third-party data is the new normal. It's the simple reality. You have to build your systems in an open platform way. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with security issues. But it's absolutely mandatory and absolutely required that you do it. That also means, as I said before, real-time interactions will be the new normal because you have to act in that situation. You have to act with your coverage, with everything. Think about the systems, about the status they have right now. Think about what you have to do. It's going to be quite a change, I suppose. Customer 360 lifetime financial responsibility, I've spoken about it before, and about the personal contracts adapted every second also. Yes, there will be uneasy data alliances, so cooperation with large tech companies are required simply to get access to the customer to be part in the daily life. It doesn't go without it. So with technology, I think it's realistic that you aspire to be a fast follower as an operating model from technology point of view. Don't think it's realistic to be the very first leader. There are companies doing only this, and they have large amounts of cash available. But yeah, you have to adapt to it, and you have to be technically a fast follower, as I said before. And as I said, you have to be relevant or you be a dinosaur, and we all know what happens to dinosaurs. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. It was a very brief food for thought. If you like it, I'd like to have your feedback. If you didn't like it, I'd also like to receive your feedback. You can find me on LinkedIn. You see the Twitter, the LinkedIn handle on the left. You can find me through the System of site. Thank you very much for your attention again. My name is Andreas Grigol, and I'm looking forward to hear from you soon. Thanks and all the best.